It's 11:40 p.m. on a Friday night, and I have just received a call that a girl has been found dead in one of the rooms in Longstreet Means Hall at Emory University. The police have finished surveying the scene, but they wanted me to deduce what I can before they start removing the evidence for further analysis. They tell me that they currently suspect the cause of death of the girl to be a murder. Well, here we are at the scene. The most important thing here to remember is this. We must leave the scene exactly as we found it. Everything in this room is potential evidence, so it is crucial that we use all of it to our advantage. Coming in, we first noticed that from the presence of two beds here, our victim did not live alone. She had a roommate. Going further inside, we see that there is a table, and on the table we can see two glasses and a half-filled water bottle. If we take a look at the liquid inside the water bottle and sniff the liquid, we can clearly tell that this is not water. It is clearly alcohol. From the fact that there are two glasses, we may assume that she was not drinking alone, that someone was here in the room drinking with her. These cups are also very useful in terms of evidence because we can use them to obtain the fingerprints of the attacker, and because we already have the fingerprints of the victim, it should be very easy to identify which cup is the attacker's. We can also use the saliva on the glasses for further DNA testing to give us some more information about the attacker. Looking at the windows here, we notice that they are all closed and bolted. And so from this, we can clearly confirm that the attacker entered through the main door and not from the windows. From the fact that the attacker came in through the door and that he or she was drinking with the victim, we may deduce that this was someone that the victim knew fairly well. Here we can find the victim lying face down on the bed. Near her head is a single pillow, and we see that the blanket as well as the stuffed animals have all fallen to the ground. Because she doesn't have any obvious wounds on her face or on her body, we can clearly rule out the possibility that weapons such as knives, guns, that would break the skin were used. Because she is also fully clothed, we can also rule out the possibility of rape. From the clothes that she is wearing, we can tell that she decided to stay in that night, and also that she was quite comfortable with the person that was in the room with her. At this point, we may think of suffocation as a possible cause of death, especially since we see faint zipper marks on the side of her face, which matches the zipper on the pillow that we see here. From the fact that she is lying face down, it seems likely that she might have been strangled with the pillow from behind and then fell forwards. From the fallen blankets, as well as the stuffed animals, we can deduce that there was some struggle before she died. However, because the rest of the room does not seem to have been disturbed by the struggle, it seems that the attacker was able to contain the victim, and thus from this we may be able to deduce that he was a fairly well-built male. The residents of the room next door have also testified that they have heard an angry male voice immediately before it became completely silent. In addition, here we find all her valuables. Here's her phone, and here is her wallet. If we open up her wallet, we can clearly see that her ID is still here, as well as the bills, which are all still intact. From this, we may be able to deduce that the intent of the attacker was not to steal anything from the victim, but may have been more complicated and more emotion-based. While the ID in her wallet can be used to confirm the fact that she did live here, the phone can also be used to scan for texts and calls to map out her relationships and then possibly look for motives for murder. A final piece of evidence that we find is a man's jacket on a hook near the entrance, that may or may not belong to the attacker. If it does belong to the attacker, from the fact that he took off his jacket coming in, shows that he planned to stay here for a while. And also that he didn't take his jacket with him could imply that he wasn't in the state of mind to calmly collect his jacket and leave, which could imply in turn that the crime was not planned beforehand or that he had a very strong emotional bond with the victim. Putting all of our evidence and assumptions together, we may be able to deduce that the killer was someone that the victim knew well, and that the killing was most likely due to a quarrel that the two may have had shortly before the murder.